Good afternoon. According to the Second Amendment of the Bill of Rights, Americans have the right to bear arms. In the last few decades, especially after the Reagan assassination attempt, gun control reform has been on the agenda of every U.S. president. The Brady Handgun Violence Prevention Act of 1994 and Federal Assault Weapons Ban of 1994 were two of the first major gun control laws in this country's history. Today I will talk to you about why new gun laws must be enacted. As a citizen of the United States of America who supports gun control, I believe more gun control laws should be enacted because these laws keep guns out of the hands of criminals and mentally ill subjects, would keep crime levels low, and aid in preventing terrorist attacks. New gun control laws would help countless individuals and stop many people from becoming victims of gun crimes. Annually, many individuals fall victim to crimes involving firearms. Stiffer gun control laws would keep guns out of the hands of criminals and mentally ill patients. Various problems with guns ending up in the wrong hands stem from guns being purchased at gun shows and gun shops. Gun shows across the country allow sales of guns without background checks. Another issue with purchasing guns at gun shows and stores is in the process of getting a background check, the time takes too long. The sale of guns at many stores and shows that require background checks last at least 24 hours before the sale is finalized. Some transactions require 72 hours, but many left-wing politicians and supporters of gun control laws find that even that amount is just way too short. Many criminals purchase their weapons legally from shows or shops because of the numerous loopholes surrounding getting a background check. In many mass shootings recently, the suspects almost always bought their weapons legally through licensed firearms dealers. Throughout the Obama administration, as the U.S. Senate voted down gun control, the White House planned executive action to expand background checks. Mentally ill individuals often got their hands on firearms. In June 2012, a mentally disturbed man entered an Aurora, Colorado movie theater and committed a mass shooting that took the lives of 12 people and injured dozens more. The incident could have been easily prevented. The shooter, James Holmes, in the days before had purchased over 6,000 rounds of ammunition for his firearms, which included a Remington 12-gauge shotgun and two .40 caliber Glock pistols. Because gun control laws would overhaul the background checking systems of the United States, criminals and mentally ill individuals would more than likely be banned from purchasing firearms altogether. While many U.S. citizens oppose gun control reform, evidence supports that firmer gun control laws would also keep crime levels low. Did you know that in the United States, child murders and suicides are more likely to involve a gun than any other weapon? According to the Centers for Disease Control, American children are 5 times more likely to be killed than those in the rest of the industrialized world. The homicide rate is 2.57 out of every 100,000 children under age 15. The homicide rate in other countries who were also surveyed happens to be 0.51. Another argument that can be made is legally owned guns are frequently stolen and used by criminals. A 2013 Institute of Medicine report states that almost all guns used in criminal acts enter circulation via initial legal transaction. While making it harder to purchase a firearm being a criminal, if a felon is caught with a firearm, they would go to prison on a possession charge. But at no time should a criminal or mentally ill individual or felon be able to get their hands on a firearm altogether. Could you envision being a victim of a terrorist attack? Terrorist attacks and incidents can be easily prevented with more gun control laws. One of the most obvious measures would be to ban people on no-fly lists from purchasing firearms. Governor Daniel P. Malloy of Connecticut announced legislation to bar people on federal terrorism watch lists from purchasing firearms. Terrorists often purchase guns and would send them to foreign fighters. While working with the Clinton administrator, Deputy Attorney General Eric Holder Jr. alleged that former convicted felons and terrorist fighters bought assault weapons and shipped them to the Hezbollah terrorist group. Within the last 4 decades, the fear of terrorism has grown tremendously, but gun control laws would make purchasing guns for terrorist activities much harder. Although many Americans support gun control, there are as many in opposition to the proposed laws and penalties of gun control. Those in opposition argue that gun control laws would not deter crime. A November 26, 2013 study found that between 1980 and 2009, assault weapons bans did not significantly affect murder rates at state levels, and states with restrictions on carrying concealed weapons had higher gun-related murders. Many argue that the laws would not stop criminals from getting their hands on guns. Some argue that gun violence is the problem and not terrorism. Skepticism is what makes gun control laws harder to pass, but these reasons to doubt them wouldn't change anything. For the many who claim gun control laws do not actually help with the problems of gun violence, in many ways, gun control laws will help exponentially. Because crime is an illegal activity, especially gun crime, to say criminals and mentally ill subjects would not get their hands on guns would be absurd. But the ease of access to guns would be much harder for these individuals. While crime would never cease to exist entirely, gun crime levels would greatly decrease and as a result of gun control laws. Although the opposition claims that gun control laws do not deter crime, stiffer gun control laws would allow the slowing down of the growing trend of gun violence. While some journalists claim that gun control has little or no effect on crime, some support the proposed new laws. Gun control would not take any of the right to carry from owners. These laws would just put a limit on who can have them. Gun control, in many ways, is a solution to many problems with gun-related crime and violence. So, closing out, new gun control laws need to be enacted because of the chaos it will create for criminals and the mentally disabled to obtain firearms. It will also help keep crime rates low, and it will aid in preventing terrorist attacks. I support these drastic changes because of the impact it will have on many families and individuals, especially the ones who suffer. New gun control laws would help countless individuals and stop many people from becoming victims of crime.